Hey everybody, Eddie here. Just wanted to let you guys know about something before watching the podcast. Like usual, Shep's messed up in multiple ways. The biggest way that you're going to notice right away is that he forgot to hit record on the audio for our beautiful microphones that are in front of our faces throughout the entire podcast. Yeah. So it's just set dressing, basically. That's the whole deal. What that means is that the only audio that we did have was the ones from our cameras, the ones that are like built into the camera, which are not very good if you've ever used a camera like that. I've tried to clean it up as much as possible. You can tell that it is camera audio. There is nothing else I can do. I'm so sorry about this. We really realized that at the end of our recording session, it was like 10 o'clock at night. Unfortunately, it's just what it is. It's just one of those ones that we're going to have to charge and then move on. And hopefully you guys don't find it too annoying. Apologies in advance. I hope you guys still enjoy the podcast. We still make some great conversation about the whole Xbox thing. Hope you guys all enjoy it. And one other thing as well, my camera's a little bit out of focus. Again, Sheps' fault. Everything is Sheps' fault. If you want to say anything, if you want to address, send any of your complaints to anyone, send it to Sheps on Twitter, at #Sheps. Go and message him like that. And in the comment section, feel free to leave it there too. All right. Without any further delay, I hope you enjoy what is in the podcast. Thank you so much. What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the true gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. Bro, how you doing today?
I'm inverted. Yeah.
Inverted.
Inverted.
Inverted like a, well, not like a fighter pilot though.
No, not quite.
Not quite like
More
that.
like a diver that can't figure out which way's up. Just swimming deeper and deeper.
Just deeper and deeper. Speaking of that, for some reason I got recommended a video on horrific deaths that divers have had on the like deep
Yeah.
you know, the ones that do like welding below the
Yeah.
right at the bottom of the sea and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I wish I'd never watched anything like that. It's very horrific.
This is the gaming podcast I'm not going to talk about. Which you should mention on the other podcast because there's r/watch people die.
Oh, this is a great sounds like a good place to be.
And the thing is, it's like, if you're a well-adjusted human being, you immediately go, this isn't for me. But like, we grew up on the unfiltered, uncensored, early 90s, late 90s internet.
Yeah.
Like, Live Leak was our YouTube.
Yep. Motherless.
Yeah, exactly. So, obviously I'm like, well, let's see if there's any interesting ones. You know? It was like, oh, so just somebody died. I'm not interested. But like, you know, let's see.
It needs to be an interesting death in order to pique our interest now. We're
like some
desensitized.
proper like Final Destination type shit.
Yeah. But anyway,
yes, gaming.
Gaming news today, bro. Before we talk about any of our stuff,
Yes.
I just want to say thank you to our amazing super bros who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations, who keep the lights and mics on and keep the gaming going here at Conbrosations, just like you guys can if you head over and click that link in the description. Those great people are my juicy left nut, Sabine from Smallville, and Gams Master, the leader of the Empire, the fearless one, the great Lord Vader himself, step cousin, because you know he gets invited to some of the parties. But you know what? Last time he brought orange tang, right? And I'm like,
Tang.
that's not even the best flavor tang. That's not even the best. You go for either cherry or raspberry. Sometimes strawberry is well good, but orange.
Yeah.
It's the cheap orange flavor, you know.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Like, I think orange is a top tier drink.
Yeah.
But low quality orange is one of the lowest tier.
Oh
drinks.
yeah. It wasn't even like good squash or anything like that.
No.
Just terrible stuff. Anyway, from that moment on, we just knew that never to ask him to bring anything. There we go.
Step cousin will never stop being funny to me. Step cousin, that is just too funny.
There's a couple of couple of gold nuggets that I found over the course of the lore of True Gamer. So I was just stuck. Okay, bro.
Yes.
Is it okay with you if we dive into the first topic, because it's a big one? It's the one that everyone's clicked on to see this video, which is the death of Xbox.
Yeah. No, I was actually going to just sit here in silence for 2 hours.
I mean, out of respect, we should, right? I mean, this is a funeral at the end of the day. This is a funeral at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Xbox has thrown in the towel. They have reportedly yielded to the mighty PlayStation and have surrendered, ending the long-last console war that has spawned that spawned countless years ago. Xbox is no more, or at least that's what the rumors are saying.
I love how this is like the Stephen Hawking, Epstein fetish meme thing. It's like one guy referenced one thing that he heard about, and everybody is referencing the one guy saying that he heard about the thing as the source.
You're saying the Xbox thing?
Yeah.
Oh, contraire mon frère.
Oh, really?
Yes, it started off like that, and I know what you mean. The first leak that came out, I was like, oh, this is just one thing, and everyone's just regurgitating it.
A thing, yeah.
Yeah, but since then it's gotten way juicier, it's got way worse. Okay, so this all started when the rumours started circulating just at the end of January, where there was rumours of a first-party Xbox exclusive game that was going to be coming to Nintendo and PlayStation.
Right.
Nobody knew what it was. Rumours were like speculation started going around. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? People correctly guessed it was Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was a game that got shadow dropped one day at one of the showcases.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. It might be
you have to shoot to the music. Basically.
Yeah, I think it may be that the music just goes along with you, and it does go with the time of your shots. So I guess a rhythm shooter would be that description for it. But anyway, it looks fun.
It
got
really good.
a ton of great reviews. Everyone loved it, and it was being touted as, you see, Xbox can make great games. This is one of our great games, and it's exclusive. So yeah, Xbox win again.
I thought it was a Steam game. I guess I missed something.
There you go. Then, on the 1st of February, it got confirmed... Okay, it's not confirmed. It got reported by multiple sources.
Okay.
Multiple sources that they were then corroborated by multiple sources within them, saying that it was indeed Hi-Fi Rush. Okay. There was a data mine as well of the game's latest update that showed multiple different T-shirts, different colours, and they were like Epic Game Store was in like the Epic Game Store color, Steam color was in the Steam one, and then it was the Nintendo and the PlayStation colors as well, and it was like I'm here and stuff like that. It was all very obvious, and it was like cool, that's coming.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
The Xbox community didn't take that too well because obviously, as I said before, they were touting it as like Xbox is great. Look, we've made a great game. Oh, it's no longer just for Xbox.
I have a hard time with this because a bit of me feels for Xbox diehards, which I do count as a different group of people to Xbox.
Yes,
because the Xbox diehards, I understand. Like I get them. They don't want to. Like I used to be one. I tried to talk us into the Xbox One so hard for months and months.
Man, I would have been looking at you differently right now. I'd have been like,
no, it's gaming related. Have you played Doki Doki Literature Club?
No,
I don't think you would have.
No,
it's not what I was expecting. I was going to make a reference. Don't worry, you wouldn't have had to worry. I would have sorted myself out if I'd have told us to go to the one and we left behind the PS4. No, that would have been the end of me.
Yeah,
like Hi-Fi Rush actually seems like a genuinely good game, but it's not the sort. It's not a console pusher, right? Which is the problem.
It is a bit of a smaller game. And maybe the fact that it was shadow dropped as well, it didn't have like a hype train rolling up to it. Didn't change the fact that it was good. Yeah. But as you said, it's not a system.
It's not a console pusher, and the issue of it being like a console war is that you have to sell systems, and Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. These are titles you can put on a box and it'll push the console. And Hi-Fi Rush, as good as it is, it's sort of more like it's probably a more accessible like Beat Saber. Beat Saber's great, but it's not going to make people buy a PSVR 2 or...
I think to the sane-minded people it was what we always hope every time Xbox releases a game is oh, the ball is beginning to roll. The first step. However, the more toxic people, the Xbots and stuff like that, they see it as Xbox is back. They are back in the golden ages. They're back on top, baby. And that's not the case at all.
No, the ironic thing is if people would be a bit more honest, they would look at it and go, proof that we can do it. We've got the talent.
Right.
We need more of this, and then just be vocal about that and anything that isn't that. Like, well, why weren't you as good as this?
Yeah.
Or we want things like that, and you know how to do it. We've
Yeah.
seen your internal report, so make us something like that.
Yeah. Anywho,
Yeah.
after that, it sort of went quiet because we got the information we heard rumours about, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Quiet for about 3 days until the 4th of February when the floodgates opened.
Yeah. Get ready, big boy.
And opened with the news that Starfield would release on PlayStation 5 shortly after its first already announced major content update, Shattered Space Expansion. And this one really upset the Xbox community.
Yeah.
Not only was it being reported by the person that you were saying where like one person referenced it, it was then corroborated by all the big people and their own independent sources, which made it go everywhere. Yeah. It was a big deal and everyone started crying about that. This was the one that people were thinking about when the first rumors came out. They were like, is it going to be something? Surely it's not going to be the big
Surely
boy,
not.
the golden goose that, again, wasn't really that good, didn't really leave much of a taste in anyone's mouth, flash in the pan. Even the reviews weren't good. People were expecting, it can't be as good as that, the thing that's going over there. It wasn't. But then when it turned out to be Starfield, it got people very, very, very upset. How do you feel about Starfield?
I want to ask you,
Go
because we know that I'm an OG Xbox loyalist, and ironically, and this is going to ruffle some serious jimmies, I think it's a terrible move. I just quickly answer. I think it's a terrible move, but because I don't agree with Smiley Jim, that freaking like I think you should just focus on making a good game. So I think it's a bad move. I would have made the multiplayer for Halo Infinity cross-platform and done nothing else, so you could still get a lot more players on there potentially if it's free to play, and potentially microtransactions from PlayStation users.
It makes sense.
To funnel into, you know, and like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it does hurt me to say making the idea of playing Halo on a PlayStation, but equally, like, it's not Halo anymore, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So that's how I would have done it. I want to know what you think about it.
So, up until this part of the news,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really see a reason why you're doing this, because we've now seen the game.
Yeah.
We've seen that it's not the next Skyrim. We've seen that it's not this 20-year project that Bethesda was working on. We're seeing that it's not something that's highly moddable, and all the modders are like making these crazy things for it that everyone was touting it would be. After they saw the reviews come out and everyone played, and they were like, "Oh, it's a bit barren, but don't worry, the modders will handle it and it'll make it better." We saw it wasn't that, so I was like, "You're bringing it to make what, an extra 10,000 sales? Let's say you make 100,000 sales. Does that do anything?"
Well, that'll be the first sales they ever see for the game.
It's true. I mean, does that do any? That's not going to do anything. So I was like, I don't understand this strategy. However, then it got worse.
Oh God.
A lot worse.
Okay.
Because then it was quickly leaked. Technically still a rumor, so it's not like leaked and whatnot, but it's not been confirmed or denied, so we'll take it as whatever it is right now. That Microsoft Flight Simulator, Sea of Thieves, Halo Master Chief Collection, Gears of War would also release on PlayStation alongside Starfield and Hi-Fi Rush, along with the recently revealed Indiana Jones game being worked on at Bethesda, and the completely unannounced Doom Year Zero from id Software. And this drove the Xbox community members from 10 feet away from the edge, over the edge. Yeah. They were very safe over there, and then they just went boo, with a bunch of people saying, "I'm done with Xbox." There was one notorious Xbox Twitter user who changed his banner to "fuck Xbox." People were showing receipts of them trading in their Xboxes because like there's no point in owning an Xbox anymore if they're bringing all this stuff. The future stuff is already announced that it's going to be coming to PlayStation.
It's like the opposite of everything comes to PC. It's like, well, everything leaves us eventually.
Exactly. And that was the floodgates after that.
Yeah.
I don't know how all of these came out. I imagine what it was a bunch of people knew individually these games were coming. And then they heard the rumors online. They were like, oh, there's a game coming out or something like that. And they thought, all right, well, I just won't tell anyone because it's probably going to come out anyway. Yeah. And then when they hear, oh, it's Hi-Fi Rush, and they're like, oh, that's not the one that I heard.
Yeah.
And then they hear, oh, it's Starfield. They're like, wait, but that's not the one I heard either.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait a minute, I heard it was Indiana Jones. Wait, I heard it was this Doom. I heard it was Sea of Thieves. I heard it was that. And they were like, fuck. And then it all just flooded out and went to the respective people. How do you feel about all of that then?
I don't actually care about the games themselves because I'm not playing any of them.
Okay.
Except Doom. Doom I'm interested in. It's the only one I'm interested in.
I'm interested in Indiana Jones, I'll tell you that. I'm going to say it right now.
You've already played a better version of it.
I'm not going to lie, that's true.
Based on track records from Microsoft,
that's
right?
true.
and this is sort of what I'm getting at is, like, Starfield, nobody cares. We've seen the game, there's nothing there. Ideally, what they would have done is do the Halo Infinite, multiplayer or something, get that money, finish the game a la Cyberpunk, and end up with a good game for people to play on the Xbox. What I think this really is, ultimately, and the reason I think this strongly is because of Indiana Jones and what's the other big one they got coming out soon? What were the games? Doom and Indiana Jones.
Doom and Indiana Jones, yeah.
Is that basically this is them admitting Game Pass doesn't work.
Yes.
And the reason that they would bring things to Sony is because they can't make money. They've trained almost all of their users to not pay for their games.
Preach.
And you cannot make good games with no money, and then you invest hundreds of millions of dollars, $200 million into Starfield, and it doesn't work. Versus like a skeleton crew of 6 dudes in Japan on like $7 million who make Power World that just prints money in the first week, right? Like the issue isn't talent, the issue isn't ability, it's something else. And part of it is like your products.
Just before you go from there, I want to say that that's the biggest thing that pisses me off about this whole thing is that because for years we've been saying this whole business model is terrible, it's not working. They danced around the word of sustainable and profitability and whatnot, and then Phil Spencer comes out directly to say yes, it is sustainable. Obviously, that's a very vague term when you're talking as a politician like he is.
As $1 trillion company.
Exactly. That's what they mean. But everyone used it against it. They were like, see, that is sustainable. It is sustainable. And had it be sustainable, then why would they be bringing all of these games to other consoles? Why would they give up, essentially, their own console, their own platform, if it was all sustainable? Proof right there.
It's also, like, weirdly... It's... I wanted to say short-sighted, but that's not the word, because, like, the idea of, we'll just sell our games on PlayStation as well, right? Well, the problem is you don't make good games. Current, again, not a talent problem.
Hold on to that thought if you can, please, because that is something we're going to come back to. Cool. But just if we can, obviously it's hard because it's a big old conversation. But let's talk about just these games coming to PlayStation and just these games coming and Nintendo as well, stuff like that.
The full list for me one more time?
The full list is Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Sea of Thieves, Halo Master Chief Collection, Gears of War. Indiana Jones and Doom Year Zero, and those are the ones that we know about.
I'll say the Flight Simulator.
I feel like it's very, like eight games is good enough. I think it's going to be all of them.
Those, by the way, are their best games by a long, long way. I would say Flight Simulator. I mean, probably not a game, but that actually is probably one of their heavy. It's like their Forza.
They keep touting about it.
They have Forza.
They keep touting about it all the time. They're like,
that's apparently incredibly good. Sea of Thieves is an interesting one. I'm in theory interested in Sea of Thieves, although I have a PC so I can play it there.
Yeah.
A bit of me wants to be hopeful, right? Because I think more better for gamers.
Yeah.
Right? So, if it happens that it comes to PlayStation, if it happens that they get loads of money and the games improve and they have... Weirdly, like, the idea that the Xbox doesn't have enough money to put into games is insane to me. but maybe there's some sort of thing where like internally they only use generated income for games, something weird like that, then maybe that gets funneled in and they make good games. I just want more good games, but I just don't see it. Sea of Thieves is a nothing game. No one plays it. I'm sure some people love it and it seems interesting, but it isn't good. Halo Infinite, not good. The only two hitters on there, other than Flight Simulator, which is not really a game, I would argue, is Indiana Jones and Doom.
You're 100% right, because if the other games were fantastic, if they were console sellers, if they were great things, we wouldn't be in this position right now.
No.
The Xbox system would be flourishing and we wouldn't see any of these ones here. So
Can I ask
those
you a
future
question
ones.
then?
Go on.
Phil Spencer said, there's no scenario in which someone sells their Xbox and buys a PlayStation, right? So what's the point anyway? What's the point?
You mean sells your PlayStation and buys an Xbox?
That's the one. There's definitely a scenario where someone sells their Xbox and buys a PlayStation, but no one's going to sell their Xbox sell their PlayStation to buy an Xbox, right? Because of, well, he didn't say because of the crap games that we have. So what's the point? Why does it matter? Why are they doing it?
That's what we're going to decipher next. So, is Xbox dead then? Phil Spencer has announced an event next week where he'll discuss the recent events and the future of Xbox. He put a tweet out saying, "We're listening." Oh God, I hate when they say that. We're listening.
We've heard you.
We're listening and we hear you. Literally, the
No way.
it says right there. We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week, where we look forward to sharing more details with you on our vision of the future of Xbox. Stay tuned. So he put that out. Not any guys, it's been way overblown, or things are not as it seems. I understand you can't say that, whatever you really want to say in a tweet, because
you could go I know everybody's really passionate right now. This isn't what you think it is. We're going to announce something at
exactly.
a conference.
If it was absolutely false.
Yeah.
However, because he didn't say anything even remotely reassuring, you have to assume. And then on top of that...
Oh God, it gets worse?
And then on top of that, we've got a bunch of tweets recently from people, some eagle-eyed people who have pulled up Fable and Avowed on the Xbox website that used to say Game Pass coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. And instead now it says Game Pass.
Okay. Well, this could be good news.
Console and PC. That's what it says.
So does it say console and PC or Xbox and PC?
Console and PC.
What did it say before?
It said Xbox. Coming day one to Xbox and Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass. Sorry.
Okay.
So it seems, and then also
I mean, that's on its own. If someone had just said that, I'd go, that's thin. Given everything else we know.
Exactly. Yeah. The previous one said Xbox Game Pass, and it had the logo with the Xbox logo, and it had Game Pass. The new stuff just has Game Pass, the word.
That's unfortunate.
Without the Xbox logo, and it doesn't say coming day one to Xbox Game Pass.
I was going to say there are two scenarios, and one is immediately much more painful, especially for the Xbox guys, but ends up being better. It's a clean break, and the other is just a toxic, slow infection that kills you slowly. And that first one was that they get rid of Game Pass. Huge announcement. Sorry guys, we're getting rid of it, or as it is, and we're going to traditional model. The Xbox would be up in arms, but it would actually function. The Xbox would be viable. You'd be able to make money from your games and self-sustain. What I think is actually going to happen is they're just getting rid of Xbox. They're going to go, be game producers, like a publishing house, basically. The problem is they don't make good games.
We'll come to that. I'm sorry to keep pushing you back on that.
No. We just need to keep this. All I'm saying is this is the ghost faced walking past you in the background. You just go, oh no, he's in the house. The big problem, all their plans.
So I think there has been for a little bit now, maybe since the ABK deal started coming along, when we started to hear more from Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. Because we saw a lot of him in business interviews on NBC and stuff like that, and more recently he's been saying things like, "Oh, we're looking to put, we're looking for business on games, consoles everywhere," and also mentions PlayStation and Switch and stuff like that. And you don't hear that from Phil. Phil would always say where Game Pass exists, or for Xbox customers, or our gamers, or something like that. And there were two sort of like conflicting messages going on there. There are rumours, which kind of seem possible now, that this event is going to be an event where they announce a rebranding of Xbox Game Pass to Microsoft Game Pass. And that they drop the day one Game Pass
they need to do that.
I'm gonna on your side as well. Look, I'm not saying it's gonna happen. This is just all rumours. Take this part with the biggest pinch of salt, because it seems like it's so synonymous with Xbox now. It seems like, I mean, they don't sell anything to their customers because of this now. There's these like blip games that you get every now and again, and those people are mainly like content creators that go out and buy the game. You know, the early access ones.
Yeah.
You can't get that on Xbox Game Pass, but you get to play it like 5 days early.
Yeah.
Content creator doesn't care about it. They're going to make that money back in no time anyway, so they'll buy it in the beginning.
Yeah. Also, they're not expensive.
Exactly, it's not super expensive. I mean, for them especially, nothing.
Yeah, it's a business expense.
So they make those sales and whatnot,
Yeah.
and those are the numbers that we see reported, but we don't see any numbers reported after that for sales. It is so detrimental, this Game Pass, and we've seen the proof now that they have to now reach out to other platforms because it's just not enough.
From their own numbers, to be fair.
Exactly.
And this is just, it's not like, we're not smart. All we have is just a better model, like a look at how, if you're a company, you need to sell your product.
Yeah.
Like, that is our worldview. And if you're a company that doesn't sell a product, you don't make money.
Yeah.
You know?
A bunch of Xbox employees were asked by various journalists and stuff like that to see, like, do they know what's going on? And a bunch of journalists who have like sources that are close to someone who regularly leak them stuff, as I've asked them what, they know nothing about what this business event is that's coming up.
I want to see the spin from Phil when we all win, when we all play, we all win.
I was gonna say, because it seems like
he predatorily was like, well, no, we're not taking anything away. Then we know for a fact behind the closed doors, he was like, yeah, take it away from him, screw him. And then it was like, oh, we don't make any money, I'm going to lose my job. Oh no, yeah, when we give it to everybody.
Do you know what's hilarious about Phil? Obviously, when the whole thing started dropping about all of these games and stuff like that, everyone was like tweeting Phil Spencer, tweeting Aaron Greenberg. I hate that guy's face. He's punch him so hard. At least Phil's like looks like a decent guy and whatnot. He doesn't make me angry when I look at him. I just hate what he says when he comes up. Right. Anyway, people are tweeting Phil and stuff like that. Phil has a lot of people on his friends list in the Xbox community. Right. So inevitably people went to his Xbox account and saw that he was playing Diablo 4, and people are posting images. They're like, yo, the Xbox community is burning to the ground and this motherfucker's playing Diablo 4.
I mean, to be honest, I'm genuinely impressed he's playing a video game. Like, genuinely, I bet it was his kid.
Could be.
I bet it was his kid.
I like to think of it as like, you know when like, so imagine like a movie where there's like a high-powered executive, she is a high-powered executive, and like, shit's hit the fan.
Oh yeah.
The feds are coming.
You get the emergency whiskey out.
Yeah, exactly. You pull out the whiskey, you sit down, maybe light a cigar, and just wait.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to imagine. That's what's happening right now. He's like,
and just him in his underpants, like shirt unbuttoned, sweating, cigar, playing Diablo.
I guess that's it. That's absolutely what I think was happening. Like, he put his phone on silent. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense.
Hey Siri.
That's how I imagined it. Anyway, question.
Yeah.
Now we can dig in more freely and talk about whatever we want. Now, what do you think? What do you think this means for Xbox? Do you have any suspicions? And if so, let's start with that, actually. What do you think this means? Do you think this is Xbox? Xbox is dead?
No, we're not that lucky. And what I mean is, like, they refuse to die. It's like that one scene from Austin Powers. Like, they won't die, but they also won't succeed. You know, they refuse to do either. They're just existing and sort of draining stuff and poisoning the well, right? Like, making the whole conversation different, leading Sony around by the nose, because for some reason Sony presumed they were a threat when they weren't, you know?
It's like SCP-682. Oh, sorry. We'll talk about it in the Conbros podcast. Sorry, my bad.
Cool. I was like, am I having a stroke? Face, arms, speech. No, still good.
For those of you guys that do know what the SCP-682 is,
I know of SCPs because I played like Control and stuff, so I'm aware of SCPs.
Okay.
But I don't know that specific number.
Right.
Is it the fridge that murders you if you look away? That we'll get there. Yeah, it's just all Xboxes are SCPs. What do I think? So the big problem is, see, I'm conflicted because making a console is a profitable thing, and Xbox can be profitable. They can still be competitive. They can still make loads of money. They can still compete. You know. It's the missing slice of the pie. I know you don't. We're going to get to this later, but you have to just make good games. And I'm not even suggesting new games. How about make the games you already have out there good? How about Starfield doesn't suck? How about Starfield isn't completely empty? And maybe there's baked in stuff. You know, they told us whole new worlds to explore, and actually it's like 8 procedurally generated locations, but you can't get between them, right?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, optimize the travel so it's not oppressive like, you know, the Destiny loading screens, right? Just get rid of it, make it quick, populate it, put some better quests in there, do a cyberpunk, don't have every single mine be the exact same layout with the same skeleton at the bottom. Like, make what you have good. Make Redfall work. If Redfall was just like worked on in science for 3 months and then they were like, hey, huge update, and it came out and it was amazing, I think it would bounce back. Yeah. And if Xbox was like, here's what we released, and that was a whoopsie, here's what we're giving you back, and everybody that bought it refunded, you've got it for free. Here you go. That's
the biggest issue, because regardless of what if all of this is true, let's say it's all 100% true, you're now just a multi-platform publisher. Yeah. Let's say you stop making consoles, which you haven't spoken about yet, if that's a possibility. Let's say you stop making consoles, you're just a publisher, you're making all these things. If you still continue with the same philosophy of we're going to ignore everything that's bad about this, or just release bad products, like you did with Redfall, like you did with Starfield, if you're just going to release bad products, you're not going to get out of the hole you're in. No. Simply putting it on other platforms isn't going to change anything.
Yeah, if it sucks, and you're going to a platform where people vote with their money.
I was going to say, PlayStation gamers, we do buy video games. We buy video games. That's why PlayStation's got to the point that it is. But we don't buy anything and everything that's put on a plate to us. It has to be good. And even sometimes we might get tricked into buying something that isn't good, but that's a very rare occurrence, once in a blue moon, and you're not going to be able to you don't have the benefit of the doubt of, oh, well, these guys gave us something great before, you know? Exactly. You don't have the benefit of that doubt. You're coming off of the back heel. You're in last position. You need to prove to everyone that you're fantastic. Yeah. And if you don't have that philosophy, which I don't think Xbox has, it's still going to be the same.
The problem is, it doesn't seem like. And this is just a complete. I don't obviously know how the insides of Sony work, but Shuhei Yoshida seems to love gaming. Yeah. Right. Like, and I think that it's interesting when the guy in charge goes, actually, I'm going to just be in charge of a niche gaming division, and as a person, like, is actually putting in thousands of hours on like Fall Guys, right? And then uploads like his most savage, just the man is a beast and cruel in a way that only a 60-year-old millionaire Japanese man can be.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't feel like anyone making decisions at Xbox cares about the games, because part of the reason I keep saying, look, you own Rare, where is Banjo-Kazooie, is because I love those games. And anybody that really cared would go, well, actually, we own Rare Studios, and they own all of these IPs. We could make these again, or even just remaster them. Like, we've seen how many remasters. The Mario was playing, was it Bloodborne? Demon's Souls.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, right? And Dark Souls got remade and remastered and stuff ages down the line. Do that. Just so you don't even have to make a new game. You just reskin something.
A couple of days ago, they announced they closed the studio Toys for Bob, which were the guys that make Banjo-Kazooie. Not Banjo-Kazooie. Sorry, my bad.
I know Toys for
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. Oh, mate, why? Crash Bandicoot's really
this merger, this acquisition was always going to be great for developers and gamers, right?
like this is there seems to just be a fundamental disconnect in the understanding of like what your product is. So I suspect that actually, if this was a software company, if these were multiple software companies being purchased by Microsoft, they might not be good decisions, but they might not be terrible decisions.
Yeah.
And then it might have been more along, like, you know how they fired 900 people or something? Was it 900?
1,000.
1,009. Fucking oh my God.
Little off.
From Blizzard, yeah. Like 2,000 people from Blizzard, right? It might have been, if it was a software thing, more like Elon firing all those people from Twitter.
Yeah.
Maybe. The problem is your product is highly interactive and is entertainment, not like a service. Right? It's not a thing that runs in the background. It is specifically interacted with and needs that sort of care taken over it. Somebody has to know what's going on. And so when you buy Activision Blizzard and you fire 2,000 of the exact thing that make it what it is that made you want to purchase it, it's likely that may be a bad idea if you only have 3 months of data. If you have studios that made classic, just good fun games, which is an area that you do not compete in, but now own multiple IPs within, and you just get rid of them, that maybe isn't a great idea, you know? And then when the brand new things you bring out come out so poorly, in fairness to Starfield, it actually worked, it functioned. There's just nothing to do there, fine.
Yeah.
But at least it worked, right? Like Fallout 76 didn't, so it's an improvement against, you know, that sort of release. So, you know, it's good when games work, but there has to be a game in there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're going to move to being a, you know, game, I don't know if you should get rid of the Xbox, because owning a platform on which people consume media, you get the Netflix, a cut of the Netflix subscriptions, you get a cut of the Fortnite microtransactions. Those transactions are very, very profitable. So I don't know why. So are you going to stick to it? Aren't you? And if you are, like, make games.
The issue is, and this is the big question that I want to ask now, is Xbox just going to become a third-party publisher? Do they give up hardware making, or do they continue doing that? What do you think is going to happen right here? What do you see from these tea leaves? Because I've been thinking about the hardware thing a lot.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't, but that's different.
Well, the problem is that they can't sell consoles.
Yeah.
Very recently, we got a report showing that the sales of the Xbox Series X and S has dipped now below the Xbox One. And the Xbox One was a disaster.
It wasn't good. Yeah.
So,
because they make the worst, they make decisions specifically designed to make people not spend money. When you do it an X and an S, and you say every game's going to play equally as well on both, which obviously can't be true. You know, you effectively start the next generation by saying we're going to continue everything on the old generation, which was our big problem with like what they did with the PS5.
Well, this is the thing that, now that before they were thinking irrationally, they were trying things, they were trying to do this Game Pass stuff.
That's the thing. I think you're looking at the exact opposite from what. Go on, sorry, say your thing.
Well, I think they were trying Game Pass. They were trying this radical new idea. Everyone was looking at them going, this won't work, and they were like, look, we've got the cash to make it work. We'll push it into profitability. We'll get there. No, it's never going to work out like that. You're dreaming. They continued going with it, and even that ridiculous value proposition wasn't enough to sell consoles. So why would that change when you now go third party? Like, that's not going to suddenly make you sell more consoles. Yeah. In fact, that's even less reason now. People are like, well, if I go buy a PlayStation, I can get your games and I can get those games. So I can't think of a reason why they would continue with consoles. I just can't think of a reason.
It's because, the reason what they do doesn't work is because they never actually go balls deep. They never go hard for it, right? If I'm in an imaginary world where someone goes like, look, Phil Spencer isn't doing it, Sheps, you need to make it work. And we're like, blank check, effectively, right, what are you going to do? Forgetting games, we're just going to do like hardware stuff. We're going to try something new. I'm going to do something that no one's going to like, but we'll get someone talking. We're doing one Xbox. The Xbox, give me a number, give me a name.
8.
Xbox Excalibur.
69.
Excalibur, that's it. We're doing the Excalibur, right? And it's modular now, just like a PC, but it's not a PC, and none of our games go to PC unless within 12 months. Game Pass doesn't run on PC, but the thing about the Xbox is, the Excalibur, is that everybody gets the same base unit, but if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade. Completely modular, you can upgrade the RAM, you can upgrade the SSD, you can upgrade all of it. Now, someone's going to say, what's the point of that if you get a PC? Well, we'll compete a bit on price point, but not so much. And we'll make it not quite a PS3, but stuff's only going to run on that. Nothing else is going to... And no, do you know one of the reasons Game Pass doesn't work? Because it goes to PC as well. So you don't need to have an Xbox to play games on Game Pass.
I'm
going balls deep on the thing.
I unfortunately don't think even that would work. Because again, it all comes down to the software.
Don't worry.
It's going to say the software is the only thing, because they don't have the brand power. They don't have the pull power to be like, we're going to do something ballsy and we know you're going to come because we make great things. They don't have that.
But this is the thing: is you have to be willing to make some people upset. I'm going to make it the Tesla, the Cybertruck. It's going to be it's going to be Marmite. People are going to hate the way it looks or love the way it looks, just like the PS5. It's going to go hard on a specific thing. We're going to go either graphic fidelity, which probably not the way to go with the current roster of games. So we're going to go frame rate, like performance. It performs like a monster, right? Also, we sell a custom cooling kit for this thing, right? That's the way I would do this. Like, if you wanna compete with your friends that play Fortnite or Apex on the PC, you need this. These are the upgrades we recommend, right? That's how I would go with that. And then, so you can compete with games that are out there now. And then I would double down on the games. What IPs do we own?
I think
make those.
2 things I have with that. Unfortunately, I think that's a bit too niche.
It's too late.
It's too late as well. It's too niche, I think, because I feel like, especially when you're talking about console gaming, not everybody cares too much about the details to that level. To the level that we do. We care about that and whatnot. And we also want a bit of ease of use and stuff like that. And then also, you're making the games thing that you said, you may as well say, I want my house to be made of gold. It's entirely impossible, because they seem to not be able to do it when the whole brand relied on it.
Fairness, I was in charge.
To be fair, okay, that is the one little caveat there, that you could probably have some sense and fucking direct some people.
Like I say, I would just go hard at a thing, and it's okay if it doesn't work. It doesn't have to work. PS3 didn't work.
Right.
The important thing is, the only way to do this thing is to be on Xbox. And there has to be some stuff that's worth playing on Xbox. But little things like, if I was owning it, how much of a ball ache is it to clean like a PS4 or PlayStation 5? Like, it's a process.
Yeah.
I'll just have like a little latch. It flips down, you stick a hoover in, it cleans, right? Like, everything about it would be thought, it's for the user, by the user, right? Like, you need to clean up the dust from your Xbox, just hit the latch and stick the hoover in, and now it's clean, the dust is gone, performance not a problem, right? I would double down on making it the user's machine. It's going to do, like, you know how the PS3, the selling point was the Blu-ray? Whatever the next version of that is, we're going to have that in it, right?
This is all cool.
It's going to connect for no fucking goddamn reason to your smartwatch, right? And you're going to be able to earn random sorts of XP and points for, like, games that don't cost us any money on Game Pass, but like, hey, you walk 10,000 steps. Here's this game that, like the OG version of like Death Stranding. It's a walking touch of it. Like, there you go, you earned the thing, right? Or like, hey, you did something really high activity this week. Here's a game, a classic game that is known for getting people's heart rates up, where it's scary or it's action based. So stuff like that. That's how I would do it, and that's just the console. We'd also have to have games. This is a 2-pronged attack. We need games, right? Redfall suddenly works.
Suddenly, we just
also, but I'd make the current games loss leaders. Redfall would work. Everybody that got it and refunded it, hey, we fixed it. It's now good. You bought it and we let you down. Here it is for free. But do you know what happens if it's good and those guys get it for free? Friend comes down to your house. You got to try this out.
Yeah.
What was that game again? We were playing at your house the other day. They get the next one, right?
Yeah.
Like, microtransactions ethically, like the Fortnite and Apex model, right? Like, just only cosmetics. I'm not against that. That's how you do it. Do you compete in the first generation? No, we wouldn't. Like, but I would know that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bought Activision Blizzard. I'd have $70 billion to spare. Okay, guys, like relax.
I love that the idea was like, let's not use that $70 billion to make some games. No. Let's buy a publisher. There we go. That's all good, well and good, make believe and stuff like that. But let's talk about the task at hand. What do you think that the future of Xbox is with all of this information? How do you see it going?
The problem is...
Not the result, but like, what is your prediction? What do you think it means? What do you think they were going to announce at this event? What are they going to say?
Well, Game Pass is changing,
Yeah.
for sure. Game Pass needs to go to more of a...
That's actually the one that I'm most hesitant to say outright. But go on, say what you're going to say.
I think owning the consoles actually makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because once people buy whatever it is, whether it's an Xbox One through to the Xbox X, having your Netflix,
the
your
residual
Fortnite,
money is
it's a lot.
How can you lose that, right? It's like
I mean, cost of production of an Xbox is like a few hundred, if that, including shipping and everything. You make that back off a couple of one purchase. If you have Netflix, you know, I think the platforms take 30% or something. So one Netflix user has it for a few years, and that's all they use it for, and it's made back. You know, like then their cousin plays Fortnite. They also have Amazon. Maybe they use the browser to buy something through Amazon and take a cut of that. Like,
so you think that the console stays? They make the next console at least.
I don't think we're there yet.
Because I mean, we're still quite far away from the next Xbox.
That's it.
And, the PS5 is going to get a Pro, so we won't include that. But the 6, we're still far away from it.
Yeah, I think we are 2 or 3. I think wherever these changes are going to be relatively big. And then if it doesn't work, we've got 2 or 3 years before they announce that we're not competing anymore.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
The game's right. So go on, finish, please.
The problem is what they're going to do isn't enough. Like I said, my version of how do you suddenly compete as the underdog, and also you, by the way, you admit that you're the underdog. You don't act like you're the best. You hey, look, big boy Sony wants you to do this, but here's how we're going to do it instead.
Just a little bit.
Care about it, you know. We care about you. Is how you would do this. The problem is that they're not going to go balls deep. So what they're going to do is they're going to adjust Game Pass so that there's still a good enough value for some of you to keep it. Like
That's the
and
interesting.
you're going to burn what little money you make, even though it's not sustainable. But you're going to keep most of the costs.
Tell me what you think Game Pass looks like from this after this thing, because that I can tell you. Let me tell you what I think everything else is going to be.
Yeah.
I think all games are going to become third party. I think Xbox have. They're not going to do like we'll do a little bit now and then we'll do a little bit later or something like that. They're just going to rip the band-aid off and they're going to say, look, we've tried for 2 generations to try and get your money, to get you guys to buy an Xbox. It hasn't worked, so we're going to bring it to you. I unfortunately think the reason why we got the conflicting reports from Satya, who works at Microsoft, and Phil Spencer, is because now Microsoft have eventually got to the point that we've been speaking about this whole time, where they're like, we can't keep paying your bills. Eventually you need to go out and find a job. Eventually you need to go out and provide for yourself.
Yeah.
And you haven't been able to do that. So we are now taking over. Your finances are ours and we're doing it. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to put all games are going to be third party.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not they're going to do day one. That's a question I think we should talk
Definitely
about.
not.
I think, unfortunately, I think the next Xbox is in jeopardy.
Oh, I 100% agree. I just don't think they announced that now.
Maybe they'll announce a bare bones cloud system or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think, and they'll make apps everywhere. So app for your PC, app for your TV, app for your phone, and they can still get in-app purchases that way and stuff like that. I think that's in jeopardy. But Game Pass, this is the thing that I'm sticking at, because I think it will be extremely beneficial to them in the long run to get rid of day one games.
Obviously, yeah. But what they're not going to do is go hard enough on that.
You reckon?
They're gonna.
What do you think they're going to say?
They're going to go month one, right? So like instead of day one, 30 days after release, it goes to Game Pass.
Oh, that's bad.
Which is bad. I'm calling now 30 days.
That's enough people to wait. That's enough of people
it's enough
to wait.
people to wait, but it's also enough for all the Xbox to be angry. They're not. They're going to try and make everybody happy.
You're gonna get the worst side of everything. You're gonna get the angry people, and you're not gonna get money because it's not enough. Fucking, they do. They need to go balls deep.
I'm saying specifically, quote, 30 days from release comes to Game Pass. That's my guess. Isn't that just the worst possible way to do it? And then they get to blame their customers. They get to say, well, you didn't buy it, you didn't support us. What were we supposed to do? Right? Right?
Shit. If they do that,
that's the worst. That is the worst idea I can think of. So I'm like, I bet it's that.
Oh my god!
I bet it's that.
Because in their mind, they're still gonna get it for free.
You still get it for free. Just eventually, wait a month. Yeah.
But they're really gonna anger everybody, and lose all of that goodwill that they've built up over the years, which is all fake anyway, because it was built on nothing. It wasn't built on good games. It was built on zero.
Yep.
It was like someone told them a story about a foundation, and they looked down and they were like, oh, there is none.
That's my guess.
Shit.
That's my guess. Now, again, I'd love to be wrong. And I understand how good Game Pass is for people that are, I mean, not casuals, but like really, really casual. They just do it because they're bored, right? They don't have anything else to do. They'd rather play video games. And
it's so small.
That's the thing.
That, like, console gaming, it's more casual than PC gaming.
Yeah.
But it's gaming in general isn't like console gaming isn't a casual thing. No. Like, I know we try to differentiate between hardcore gamers like esports, people who are playing games day one on, like, you know, the Spider-Man comes out, something like that. But then there's casual gamers that don't really care what they're playing.
Yeah.
Every now and again they might play a game, like, I'm thinking Overcooked or something like that. Something small, It Takes Two or something like that.
They got 20 minutes spare, they're going to just jump onto something, doesn't matter what it is, just to waste 20 minutes.
And those people are like a percentage of the fucking pie.
Yeah, not even that. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, that's what Game Pass was directed at. Yeah. And it's like, no wonder I didn't make any money, because those people are barely existing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you think there's going to be... Is that what you think is going to happen? Or fucking hell.
That's my prediction. Is that they stick to Game Pass, but they try to make it look more friendly or something. But hey, look, if you want it early, you can buy the game. But no one's going to wait. Everybody's going to wait 30 days because nobody else is playing it. Right? Like, the guys on PlayStation aren't getting it yet. So there's no, like, need to be relevant. Everybody waits 30 days. Right? That's what happens. That's my guess. And then I think they use that in 2 years' time to say, do you know what, we've decided to pause development of the next Xbox.
What do you think about the games? Do you think they're all going to go third party like me? Because I think
they're going to try.
I don't see a reason, if we're all basing it on these rumours that have been corroborated by many sources.
We're going to assume that they're true.
We're going to assume they're true because it's just so many people saying it's true. It's now too hard to
Also, we need the clickbait, okay?
Exactly.
I think they're going to try.
It's too many things to be like, okay. Like, once you do Indiana Jones, something that you probably paid lots of money for, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's coming to PlayStation. Like, we need fucking sales, so to make back the licensing costs.
That's the thing.
Once you do something big like that, and you're doing... What's to stop anything? What's to stop any other game? Why would you leave any other game behind? Like, now this all makes so much sense. Why? Because I think it was like 2 episodes ago we said, man, they got the Blade license. That's crazy because, like, I mean, Marvel, we saw from the leaks from Insomniac how much money they want in return for the license cost, how much they want sale per game. Microsoft aren't selling games, they aren't selling anything, so they must have just paid a huge amount out of pocket. The conversation clearly behind the scenes was, well, we're planning to go multi-plat anyway, so this is going to get sold on PlayStation, Nintendo, Switch, the same thing, and PC, Steam, everything like that. So now it makes so much sense. There's no reason why any game will be left behind. And then multiplayer games, well, that's just a given. Why wouldn't that be multiplayer, multi-platform?
There is one thing, and you've made me not say it, but I can't hold it anymore.
Go on.
They don't make good games.
This is the big elephant in the room. All of these conversations are met with this huge elephant in the room in the back here, is that no matter what they announce, no matter what plan they initiate, they can say we are giving every game to you for free on Game Pass. If you, so long as you subscribe, we can do. Well, that's what they're doing now. We're bringing every game to PlayStation. We're doing whatever. It doesn't matter what they say, because at the end of the day, the quality of the games is not sufficient.
There's nothing I want to play.
People aren't going to pay for subpar quality.
And let me put it to you this way, because we like video games. I really don't care where they come from. We're in a very fortunate position because of the AdSense that we make and Patreon and donations and stuff. We can have Game Pass for free. And even for free, it's not worth it. It's not worth my time.
We're not burning money.
Yeah, well, like, first of all, we respect your money, right? Like, it's supposed to make this show and the content better. And I don't think Game Pass would. There's nothing for us to talk about. But also, like, even for free, you pay for games with your time. Like, you guys pay us when you watch this stuff for free with your time. We have to respect that, right? We have to talk about relevant things and be interesting, or at least try, even though we're telling us hacks, right? Like, there's nothing I want to invest any time in. The only things I'm somewhat... Actually, Hi-Fi Rush could be interesting, but, I mean, not enough for me to buy Game Pass out of pocket for that alone. Indiana Jones... The other thing is, right, there's no good scenario to this. Let's say Indiana Jones comes out and it's like an Uncharted. It just bangs. Yeah. It goes hard. And it goes multi-platform. You lose your entire customer base of Xbots and the Xbox diehards, because where were these games when we supported you? Why is it now good when it goes to everybody else? If you had multiple games like that, there'd be more of us. We'd be making money.
It is a huge slap in the face, isn't it?
So, like, I just...
It implies that the businessmen behind the scenes were like, even though it's probably not like this, because how can you control quality like this? Right? It implies that they were like, we're going to do a half-assed job because at the end of the day, we're not going to sell it to anybody really. And they're not saying that part out loud, they're just releasing it to you and then you get to buy the crap. And then when they're like, oh, this is actually going to go out to a lot of people, well, I'll put my best foot forward there. That's what it implies.
Well, except I think it's worse, because that actually implies competence.
Yeah, it's true.
Because Starfield cost $200 million. And it's empty.
Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
$500 million.
Is that confirmed or is that
it's a rumour. No one actually knows, but
let's say 200. Let's say Starfield and Halo 200 million apiece. Right? So between those two games, about $500 million.
Yeah.
Right? For nothing. So, like, what are we gonna do when those are the games that we make, right? It's all good and well saying that we're going to become a publisher. You don't make anything.
Yeah.
And if you do suddenly start publishing games that bang when they go in other places, that means you could have done it the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, what is anyone supposed to think about that? That means you lose your diehards and you literally only capture the casuals who just don't have any care in the world, or the people that are specifically engaged with that thing. So, like, look, I'll be honest, if they make a Banjo-Kazooie, I'll get Game Pass and play it, because I miss those games, right? Especially if it's good, right? Just for that one thing. And the other people that would play it, people that don't care, like, oh, that looks like fun, those are the only two groups of people that buy that game in the current way of things.
Yeah.
You've got to... What do you think? What do you think, for real? Do they drop the Xbox? Do they just go publishing? Do they do some sort of Xbox exclusive and then, like a 30-day or 3-month? I don't think they have the balls to go 3 months. I think 3 months would actually keep... If you made good games but they went everywhere after 3 months, I think you still keep Xbox. Xbox would still function, but...
I think they go full third party.
You do?
I think it's been too much time has passed of Phil Spencer saying, trust me.
Yeah.
And then they have done. And they've given him ample amount of time to turn the ship around.
Yeah.
To make something to show the line is going up at some point.
Yeah.
Show me the line is going up at some point. What was the reason for the line going? Did it go up? No, it didn't go. Okay. I think enough time has passed. And I think now going on to one of my big predictions.
Okay.
I think Phil Spencer leaves.
Thank God.
I think Phil Spencer is not fired, but he leaves because essentially this is competing ideology.
Yeah.
And you can't stay in a position if you had a completely opposite plan of attack and an ideology. It doesn't work. If you go to a business and you're like, our main thing is selling weapons.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the company turns around and goes, actually, we're not going to sell weapons.
Trampolines only.
Right, exactly. The heads are going to be like, well, I don't believe in this philosophy anymore. I'm going to step away.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to
good
happen.
in the world and make AK-47s.
Exactly. So my dad did it, so I did it, and it's worked for us so far. The Jericho.
The Jericho.
I think unfortunately they go full third party. That's their best shot.
Yeah.
Because the money isn't on Xbox, and any amount of 30-day exclusive, 3-month exclusive to Xbox, 6-month exclusive, 1 year, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You don't have the brand power to pull people in.
Yeah, agreed.
So, and I think all of these words that we're seeing online, in fact, I think if I can find my tweet, god damn it, I hope I can find my tweet.
Fingers crossed.
Satya Nadella said something. Nutella. His name is so close to Nutella. Extremely easy to say. Where is it? Extremely easy to say. Yeah, here we go. So he put out a tweet. He put out a statement saying,
right,
if it was up to me, I would get rid of exclusivity on consoles. The dominant player has defined the market competition using exclusives, and I have no love for that in this world. And I was like, it's extremely easy for you to say that when your brand or exclusives have no pull or desirability to the point that you are about to announce that you are abandoning a solid and proven strategy for a healthy business out of desperation to actually make some sales. And I was like, all of these words that he keeps saying about everyone, let's go to everyone. It's not out of altruism. No. It's not out of I want everyone to be happy.
No, not at all.
It's because you have no other choice.
When we all play, we will win.
Exactly. Oh my god, I'm going to end on that. I'm going to end the podcast on that. You've had 2 generations of exclusivity means everything. In fact, we're going to buy exclusive games. We're going to buy timed exclusive. We're going to buy studios. We're going to take games away from people. It hasn't worked. That's why you're saying all the things you're saying right now. So, I don't think any amount of exclusivity period is going to work for them. It's going to go full third party, day one on PlayStation.
Yeah.
No reason not to. They need money. They need a return on investment, crucially.
Yeah.
They're finally wised up as a business. They're like, we spent $70 billion. We're going to want some of that back.
Yeah, maybe we should make a product.
Maybe. And we're going to want a return on investment.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's like buying freaking McDonald's and saying, you need to start making fish and chips, guys.
Change it. And in fact, if you don't make any money this month, no problem. If you may make any money for the next 10 years, no problem.
Yeah.
I think they go full third party, day one on PlayStation.
I don't know. First of all, I don't think Phil steps down. I think he will have been fired, for one. But is media trained enough to be like, I'm stepping down? But actually got fired.
Let's be honest. If anyone in his sort of position is fired, it's always has left the company to pursue other opportunities.
Right.
And it's like, okay, we know what that means. However, I think he's much as shit as I give Phil, I do actually think he's the kind of guy that would step down in this position anyway. I feel like he would go, this isn't what I've been beating the drum to for the last 10 years. So I can't, with good faith, even go out to look at people with a different message. So
I think slightly different. First of all, I don't know if it happens in the next thing, but I think what happens is he doesn't step down. He sort of presents it as if he's doing a Shuhei Yoshida, where he's like, I've decided that my passions lie in this niche thing that we do, right? And so I'm going to take that over to really grow and develop it. Yeah. And in the meantime, this suit here is going to take over the Xbox you know and love. You know,
It's going to be Sarah Bond.
is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it seemed like that's what they were teeing up for.
Okay.
Sarah Bond's another executive, and
Mhm.
she seems okay. I mean, I don't know too much about her, but we'll find out a lot about her when she starts working.
Yeah, we'll. The thing is, the current version of Xbox has got away from the fact that. I was going to say that the point of a business is to serve its customers, and I guess, well, actually, they just try to make money for their shareholders. But I think maybe they do believe that that's what they were trying to do. But at some point, you have to look at it and go, like, our medicine doesn't work. Liquid mercury doesn't cure what we thought it cured. It's actually poisonous. We need to take it out of our medicine because it's making people sick, right? Like, we thought we were being pro-consumer by, and I literally mean those words, not like pro-consumer. Like, we thought we were helping the everyman by making it cheap and affordable, but the reality is it's had a knock-on effect of everything we make blows.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help anyone. And our customer would be more happy buying 1 or 2 good games than having the option to play 200 turds, right? With the odd miracle thrown in here or there that happens to be very niche, like Hi-Fi Rush, which I'm sure is, by the way, an incredible game, just, you know, not a system seller, right? Like, having that honesty, I think, would really help. I kind of hope they're going to start steering that way. The problem is that it's the fact that they've changed the whole Game Pass, right? That's the problem. Game Pass is the core issue here.
Yes, and that kind of brings me into Alpha's writing.
Okay.
He wrote in and he said, so I asked if there was any burning questions, and he said, not exactly a burning thought, but it would make sense for Xbox sales to continue with their games on Game Pass, but at full price on PlayStation and other platforms, except for PC, which has Game Pass already. This gives a reason to have an Xbox. Maybe they added delay to PlayStation and to PC. I think unfortunately it doesn't work, Alpha, because as we've been saying, as we've like spoken in this conversation, Game Pass is the core issue, and we've had nearly 2 decades of Game Pass. It's been a 15. How long has it been?
No. I swear like 7 years.
Has it been
2017?
Oh, we're way overdoing it then.
2017, right? So 7 years, I think.
Let's see. Game Pass.
I think.
When did Game Pass start?
I want to say 2017. Huh?
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm stupid.
Right.
I'm remembering. Actually, that's close enough to the Xbox One generation. Why did I think it was going to be 20 years? Anyway, ignore my stupidity. We've had Game Pass for so long.
How many years exactly?
20 years. It's incalculable, okay?
Impossible to say.
Incalculable. And it hasn't had the effect that they wanted. It hasn't even
close.
It's had detrimental effects on the industry.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, if they do go your way and they do keep Xbox Game Pass, it's just creating all of this noise for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just creating all of this noise and all this upset and all of this roar and jeopardizing the way going forward. Because you changing to putting your games on PlayStation, maybe a great thing. Maybe it will get you some sales and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there are going to be some people that still stick around to try and be like, okay, I'll wait a little bit, I'll go on there. I just think it's poisoning your ideas going forward.
There's multiple sides to that, which is, okay, they go on PlayStation, but if they're not any good, they don't get bought, and you damage your brand. Right, so that's a pretty major thing. And I understand the idea of not wanting Game Pass to change, because if money is tight, right, like this idea of the value proposition, like we get so much for it, like why don't you want people to have this? The problem is that not only is it not, like they're not bringing you anything really good, you're getting a lot of stuff, but it just isn't good. And it's not we care, right? Like we care that you may not, like people don't have a lot of money, especially right now. And especially to be spending on entertainment, right? And so I feel for you, but I don't think you're better served getting cheap crap than you would be getting like a good product for a fair price.
Yeah.
And fair is hard to say. Like I know 70 sounds really expensive these days, but actually it's still probably fairly cheap.
The problem is that Game
For what you
Pass
get.
has unfortunately affected people's perception of value.
Yeah.
Things are hard. Things are expensive nowadays, and people's money doesn't go as far. Inflation has fucking destroyed people.
Yeah.
And prices of stuff just haven't come back down. I get those are real things.
Yeah.
However, video games do have a cost. Those things haven't changed. In fact, they've gone up because inflation doesn't just affect us; it also affects those studios and everything and the businesses that go into them. So, it's just the way we are. It's just the life we have. The solution isn't, well, we'll just make people pay less for it.
Like,
That doesn't do anything. That just makes things worse. And look at where Xbox is right now.
a similar analogy would be like, so you go to your like local cinema, and your cinema goes, you know what, we're going to do a subscription service. It's super cheap. You can watch as many movies as you like, but they're just crap, and not like good fun crap, like just not good movies.
Yeah.
But you can watch unlimited of them. That is like maybe something to do every now and then, you know, and maybe when you're bored, but that wears off quick. And then the cinema that's 2 miles up the road that has Endgame, that does really well. This is a proven analogy because that cinema is Sony with Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Forbidden West, where like they're bringing out the blockbusters and people are going there and they're buying them constantly. Or then you have random cinemas other places, the Elden Rings and Power Worlds and BG3. Like Baldur's Gate isn't exclusive. Just came out, right? Yeah. It's an independent, but it's passionate and great. But hey, you can watch these crap movies for a really low fee, and we want to give you value, but you're not really getting value. You're paying a low sum for not a good product.
Yeah.
And that I really think is what's going on. And I appreciate that. Look, maybe spending, what's our example, like 50 quid to go to the cinema for Endgame is a lot, but Endgame was like almost a decade-defining movie for action, versus like going to see 10 crappy action movies that just aren't good. 10 Steven Seagal movies for a tenner a piece. Like, it's just not. It's. I don't think it's serving. But like, I feel you. I get you. Like, like money is tight, and we've been poor. I grew up poor. I've been poor most of my life. Like,
that's the worst part about all of this whole argument is that we understood their point.
Yeah.
We got the value thing and the spending less money because life is hard and shit like that. We understood that point that everyone was making.
Some people have been to your yard. They see where you live.
Exactly. It's just unfortunately we are mature enough. We are forethinking enough that we can see a little bit into the future and go, actually, in the long run, that's going to be a huge detriment to us.
It's like
it's better to suffer that little bit now.
Yeah. We've gotten to a point where we go, do you know what? Rather than eating 3 meal deals a day, I'd rather have one really good steak dinner.
Yeah.
Because that's going to taste better. It's going to be better for me. I'm going to enjoy it more.
Or even just something more sustaining. You just have like, rather than having like, I have crackers throughout the day or something like that, let me have something really sustaining that will last me and keep me for the rest of the day.
Right.
I'd be drip fed like glucose. No. I'd rather than having just a drip every 5 seconds. I think I'd rather have a meal.
But also, like, quality has knock-on effects. So, like we said that, it's this Game Pass had a negative effect on the industry. Well, good games have a positive effect because The Last of Us spawned a really great TV show.
Yep.
And the TV show was great because the source material was great and they stuck to it for the most part.
Yeah.
Right? I don't see no Halo show. Oh, wait!
Let's not do that.
You know?
2 things I want to say. One thing is that I wonder if they say anything about Call of Duty at this event. I think it might be a bit too bloated for them to say it because I 100% don't believe that Call of Duty is coming to Game Pass. They need those sales, and if they can't get rid of those sales, it's not something they can do. And then also, I wonder if Game Pass does change, and if it does, then how has it been done soon enough before the massive effects that has ruined the industry essentially? Because it's already had bad effects on the industry. but I don't think it's irreparable at the moment, and I think we can go back. It's going to take some. It's going to be painful. Some people are going to resist it, but
I think Game Pass had its moment, ironically, which was 2020. So I think if you are like the accountants, you're looking at Game Pass and someone says, look, this is going to be a multi-year plan. It's not an easy thing to do. First few years of Game Pass are not very good. 2020, when everybody's in lockdown and money's tight and everybody's furloughed and stuff, like Twitch quadrupled its user base, and that hasn't gone away. That was the time that if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. And it didn't. 2020 should have been the wake-up call, like, look, people have nothing to do. They're stuck indoors, and we are a cheap option, and no one's buying our fucking product. Like, this doesn't work. If it was ever going to happen, it is now. All these other subscription services are putting in record numbers. All these other games have record players, and our product isn't doing it, and people are stuck inside with nothing to do, and everybody's getting like what was it in America? They were getting those checks for like $1,600. Stimulus checks. Like, people have the money, like it's cheap, and it's not happening. Like, guys, like, and the fact that we're 4 years away from that. God, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It feels like it was yesterday, and they're still going. I think they are too heavily invested in it, and they've trained their customer base so well in this time period that getting off of it is going to be so difficult they won't do it.
I think so.
Unfortunately.
What would make them do it is if they are what we all think they are, and they're just ruthless businessmen. Which means that they've been lying to your faces this whole time, and they've just been blowing smoke up your ass.
True, yeah.
I was going to say, if they have been blowing smoke up your ass, then they don't believe anything they've been saying. They don't care whether or not you feel pain afterwards. And I think, unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. Just, could you die for me, please?
Yeah.
Oh, it's rest in peace, Xbox.
Yeah, I think it
will be very upsetting if they do get rid of the Xbox name. Because that will be the end of a massive era.
Yeah.
That would be pretty... I can't imagine what it would be like online when they say that. Like, we're removing the Xbox, we're changing it to Microsoft Gaming. Because unfortunately, Microsoft just by itself, it's just so soulless.
Yeah.
Like, Xbox had a soul. It had like... Had a soul. It had like a feeling of gamer in it.
Yeah.
And if they change it to Microsoft now, it's just going to be like, what the fuck is this?
I think there's only two sort of ways that it works, and both of those are really painful. They're huge announcements, huge shake-ups, and then they have to go to like, we only make games, but they're good games, or we're doubling down on the Xbox brand. But ultimately, Game Pass has to go away, and it clearly isn't. And if they're sticking with that name, then they're not going to go too far away from the base product, is my guess.
I think they'll just go for whatever PlayStation Plus is. Eventually down the line, those games will come to Game Pass. No sort of like set date or anything that. I think that's the only thing they can do.
But that's what I argue.
They created the beast.
They won't do it. They'll do the no more day of release, but it's 30 days later, so you'll still get it. But then
I think it needs to be way more than 30.
Yeah, it has to be minimum 3 months.
And it can't be a defined day.
No.
Like, it has to be like PlayStation, where
case by case basis.
Exactly. Yeah. It has to be like PlayStation, where you don't know when the next game is coming to PC. You don't know when the next game is coming to PlayStation Plus. It's just...
But that's not what they're going to do.
Unfortunately.
That's not what they're going to do.
Rest in peace, guys. Let us know in the comment section. Sorry?
It said Ripperoni Rosarini.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just seemed like... Yeah. It rhymed.
Let us know in the comment section how you feel about this and what your prediction is. Next week we'll find out for sure what exactly is going on with this. It's called a business event. So
that sounds much more Microsoft than Xbox, doesn't it?
It doesn't feel very good when you call it a business event.
No, this sort of feels like a weird version of when they do the tech deep dives. People are like, there's nothing about games here. Yeah. Like, I think a lot of Xbox are going to be really confused why the business event is talking about business decisions and their Microsoft business decisions.
I think they're going to be too upset by what's being announced to think about any of that. Anyway, bro.
Yes.
before we move on to our next topic, let's thank some great true gamers who support us over at Patreon at the $5 tier to get this podcast early, to keep the lights and mics on like you guys do. That's Sheps' Crusty Right Nut, Sub2557, Gams Master, Gerald Tucker, Mikey T, Fishy, Cobra SS, Dagenham Dan, Adam Sunling, Max H, and Super Whale Ben. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
By the way, Gerald, I did see your message last time. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for watching the episode.
That was an interesting wink you gave.
Listen, what me and Gerald do in our free time has nothing to do with you, okay? You can just... He's on the other side of the planet, but he's still in my heart here. Okay?
Oh, God.
Okay. Our next topic.
Yeah.
There was, and this was going to be the big topic, but unfortunately it's big.
Yeah.
There was a state of play since we last spoke.
Yeah.
It wasn't the biggest state of play in the world, but I think there was some very, very cool stuff that was announced.
I missed it and didn't bother checking in, so I actually have no idea what was in there.
That's what I mean. It was one of those ones where I was like, there's cool stuff there.
Yeah.
There was some new things there, but it was very much like, oh, that's really cool. Okay, all right, it was a good show. All right, good to see you later. But it wasn't be like, oh my God, the next God of War, blah, like that. But there was a cool moment in it as well. So the state of play highlights: Death Stranding 2 was shown again with more gameplay. Looks as cracked out as any Hideo Kojima game ever.
It's Hideo Kojima, you know.
You may have seen this picture. You know the fragile woman, the Lia Sadu. They were opening up a mummy casket.
Okay.
And the mummy casket had the black tar thing from like the Timefall stuff on it. And her and a guy who was like a medical dude were cutting it open. Yeah. They were looking at the mummy. The mummy opened her eyes and she had like gold and black painting on her face. And something spat at her. And this is the funny thing that happened. So she had these hands around her face. They were like gloves. Let me try and look at me. I'm trying to explain it to you because
I'm trying to find the picture of it.
Yeah, don't try to find a picture. Let me do it. So it's like, imagine a person's hands wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Blue gloves. Like this around her face. As if like that's going to stop like anything, particles from going in, something like that. And then when like the splatter of like black liquid came out of the body that they were cutting, it reacted and it moved to try and like protect her eyes and stuff like that. And then later on in the movie, she like pulls out a cigarette and then the hand comes alive and lights a lighter to light her cigarette. And I'm like, is this like her? Is it an extension of it? Did she mutate as she's grown a hand? Or is this protective equipment? I don't understand what this is.
I want to hear Hideo Kojima's like dinner table conversations. You know?
He's one of them guys that everyone just sits down and they were just like, huh.
I bet everybody sits down, they get their food and they all just turn and just wait. Just to say something.
And then she's absolutely enraptured by everything he says.
Yeah.
It was cracked out. But looked amazing. Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Did you watch the last trailer by any chance?
No.
So in the
Death
last
Stranding I just couldn't get into.
Okay. Well, in the last game anyway, spoilers, you kill him at the end.
Whoa!
Whoa! Wait. But you kill him in the place called the beach, and is it a real place and what was going on? He's in this like red outfit, and like his body's translucent at some point, so you can see his intestines and stuff like that. Anyway, he's wearing a red mask, and he's got long hair. When he takes his mask off, he's got like Joker makeup on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing images of this. Yeah.
For reasons unknown, he's got Joker makeup now. And he starts fighting these two giant robots that come out of somewhere with a guitar.
Okay.
Because that's how you fight enemies, with a guitar. It's cracked out. This is
like Hideo, my man. Can we like just... What is the acid budget at his studio? Do you know what I mean? Like...
The tax person comes along, it's like, you've got an entire division just burning through cash. What's going on over here? Are you Batman?
What is the creative division going through? And why do all of these purchases disappear through the dark web? Like, why? What are we doing here, Hideo?
What's the division that thing works in Batman? Morgan Freeman.
Is it some research and development? Is it R&D?
It's not. It's R&D and like there's a sciences or something like that.
Yeah. Applied sciences.
Applied sciences. That's it. He's got an applied sciences division. And they're like, whoa, you've got applied sciences just burning through cash. What's going on?
What's going on here? Like,
if I ever have something that has a huge budget,
$300,000 for a pen that writes in space. We sure?
We sure about that, NASA?
Yeah. $30,000 for a space hammer. A hammer. $30,000.
If I ever have
This one just says acid.
If my business ever gets to a point where there's like one part that's using a ton of money, I'm naming it applied sciences.
Yeah.
Just for the thing of it. Anyway, that happened. We got more Judas gameplay, which is the people who made the Bioshock games, Bioshock inspired.
Yeah.
And that looks awesome. Really looking forward to that. Metro got a VR version of the game coming out called Awakening. That looked very creepy, especially in the world of Metro where it's like all like essentially living in Chernobyl basically.
Yeah.
Very, very creepy stuff. Rise of Ronin gameplay was shown off, which looked kind of like Assassin's Creed Japan basically. Might be a bit offending them with the Assassin's Creed reference there, comparison there. But that looked okay. They showed off a new combat trailer for Silent Hill 2,
Okay.
which looked great. And also, they released a free demo called Silent Hill A Short Message.
Alright.
In the state of play, it looked like it was essentially PT. And PT was essentially for Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So I was super excited. However, no one is talking about it, which is not a good sign.
No, that is not a good sign. I guess, I mean, horror games, like, just as a genre, it's something I tend to stay away from. I'm just not into it. So I don't have any connection with, like, PT and Silent Hill, really.
Yeah.
Even, like, I would go as far as to say, like, that's one of the elements that kept me out of Death Stranding, was that it's not scary, but there's just elements of, like, I just don't know what's going on, and it's kind of creepy, and I'm just like, I'm not enjoying it, and this story is so hard to understand. Why are we making stuff from his poo? Yeah, so it's, God, PT was, that project was insane.
Yeah.
That was not cool.
Next up, a very generous amount of a game called Stellar Blade. And
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the game trailer was about. All I saw was that there was a tremendous amount of baked goods in the...
Yes. The whole bakery in space.
The whole bakery. There was just a stupid amount of buns that I could not look away. I didn't see any blades. All I saw was buns. So I don't know why they called it Stellar Blade. Yeah, that looks like a... What's really interesting about it is that the game creator, some people have come out and they're like, this is typical like male fantasy because it's like a hot woman and whatnot. And then the game creator just comes out and doubles down to like show these dickheads that they don't mean anything. They're like, yeah, I specifically made her insanely hot, and I've actually modelled her on this celebrity Japanese woman over here. And then the woman responds, she's like, oh, that's such an honour, thank you so much. And it's like, everyone is cool about it except for you, Karen, so just get out of the way.
Yeah, it's guy knows what he likes, you know, and also knows his audience, right? I will tell you that this will be the sort of game that, yes, is you know, based in a bakery, but also will have all of the stuff that its target group is interested in, right? It's not just going to say, here's tits and ass, and that is enough to make the game. Like, that's not what Bayonetta was about, although it was like about that.
It was about that, but it wasn't about that.
It wasn't about that,
Yeah.
you know? Like, I don't understand what people don't get, that you don't just go, oh, here's TNA.
Yeah.
Right? You go, here is the thing that I want to do. Also, look how incredible the characters look. You know?
Yeah.
And Yeah, I don't get. I also don't get the beef because, like in movies, there's this weird double standard where like all the dudes go through so much training.
Oh yeah,
You know,
they need to be huge. They need to be perfect. They need to be dressed well. Everything like that. Yeah.
The girls are just there. They're not going through these, intense training regimes.
Well, it'd be terrible to suggest them to do anything like that, right?
Similarly, do you remember they complained that Carrie Fisher was told to lose like 50 pounds for the movie?
Yeah.
And they're like, that you killed her. Like, she was fat, and Princess Leia wouldn't have been fat. She's a general. She didn't have time to be fat. She's leading resistance, and like, why is one okay but the other's not?
This is Hollywood for you. All hypocrisies.
But so, point being, the game, I have seen some of this trailer, and mate, but equally, it's gonna serve its customer base. It's gonna have the things that people are looking for, right? Visually, it looks exactly like what I would expect it to look like. There's like steampunk type / cyberpunk mecha enemies. You've got these weird giant monsters, very hack and slash. Like, it looks like it's gonna. You're gonna see a lot of gifs from dudes on Twitter of like the perfect combat scenes,
Right.
Much and stuff like that.
Right.
What's that Korean guy's name? Say, the guy.
I don't know how to say his name, but I know what you're talking about.
You're gonna see a bunch of this stuff from it, and it'll hopefully all end up with her doing the pose. And the titties will jiggle for like 3 or 4 seconds at the very end, as they just settle down.
Well, that's how titties are. Have you not seen them? I mean, I've only seen them on screens as well, but
yeah, they'll be. So yeah, I think it actually looks, unironically, just looking at the gameplay, it does look good.
I agree. They also announced Until Dawn, an older game, is getting a PS5 remaster. Not 100% sure why, but I didn't play it there, so maybe it's an opportunity for me.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. And on a separate state of play, they did show 11 minutes of dedicated gameplay for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And apparently there's a demo available right now if anyone wants to play that as well. Everyone's been saying it's amazing, so good for that.
You played Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first bit.
Yes.
You played like the demo or the first section of it. You quite enjoyed it, but you never played the rest of the game.
Yeah,
what happened there?
I didn't ever go back to it. It's so strange.
Because relevant to Stellar Blade, Tifa is in that game, and I really like her for her character development.
I'm not gonna lie, I see
17.
a lot of. Okay, I wouldn't like any of that. I don't know what you're talking about. Thank God you said that before I said anything. No, do you know? I don't know why I didn't pick it back up again. I don't know. I can't give you an answer. So strange.
Just one of those.
At the end, however, of the first state of play, there was a very cool moment. So picture this: Herman Holst on a black background, PlayStation Studios logo right behind him.
Okay.
He starts talking about the PlayStation Studios, starts thanking everyone and stuff like that. He's for those of you guys that don't know, Herman Holst, the ex-Gorilla head.
Yeah.
Gorilla Studios has now become PlayStation Studios head. So massive promotion there. He's there talking, thanking everybody. And then he's like, I'd like to also welcome to the stage Hideo Kojima. Hideo Kojima's right next to him. They were both on his black background. Hideo Kojima logo.
Hideo Kojima just pop some acid and then go.
Well, you see him like put something in his mouth, but you don't know what it is. They start talking. They start saying about everything's great. How's everyone doing? Thank you very much for the support. And then he announces his return to the action espionage genre with a brand new IP exclusive to PlayStation. He doesn't say the name of it.
Liquid Lizard instead of Solid Snake.
He doesn't say the name of it, but he announces that he's back, essentially making Metal Gear Solid type games again. And he's very happy about it. It's like a big moment. And for a second, I thought that they were on green screens, and then this was all like shopped in afterwards. But then they shake hands and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool, they're there and whatnot. And then
they shake hands like this, though.
They shake hands.
Yeah.
Everything's great. And then Hideo Kojima looks over to the side and he goes, "Let's go." And the
Does he say it like that? Does he go, let's go?
hold on a second, because I'm getting to something here.
Let's go.
I'm gonna stop. He looks over to the side, says let's go, and there's a drone that's like, he's like pulled out. It goes backwards. You see the set that they were on. It was nice and cool. It pulls out of a massive a stage that they were recording in. Goes up into the air. It's Sony's. It's Columbus Pictures. The massive lot that they have goes up into the sky, and on a massive banner just under the Columbus Pictures like logo, the sign that they have there is the word. I'm gonna spell it for you because it's not a word. PHYSINT.
Science.
For science.
Science. And I googled this. Science. Very first thing, I've no idea if what this is going to be risky quick. Science stories compilation. I'm just curious what that's about. Adult. I don't think that's something I want to be on.
No, don't be on that. Don't be on that.
I think
at the time, we don't know what it means, but it is trademarked in the corner of the picture here. And afterwards, here, Kojima clarifies just a little bit. He goes, "Science working title." He goes,
"What a working title, mate!"
It's just so strange.
How'd you come up with that header? Well, I was on a lot of acid.
I smashed my keyboard.
Yeah.
Will be the third new original IP since the establishment of Kojima Productions. It is a completely new action espionage for the next generation. So it's going to be a PS6 game, I guess. It will be created using cutting-edge technology and the best talents from around the world from both film and video games. Of course, this is an interactive game, he puts in quotation marks, but the look of the story, theme, cast, acting, fashion, sound, etc. are all on the next level of digital entertainment that could be called a movie in quotation marks. Okay. So
he's for 2-hour-long cutscenes.
He's aiming for something different here, but just the fact that it was action espionage again had all of the Kojima fans, all of the MGS fans just creaming their pants. Me included.
Could you do me a favour? Just read that brief about the game just really quick.
Okay. Sint, working title, will be the third new IP since establishment of Kojima Productions. It is a completely new action espionage for the next generation. It will be created using cutting-edge technology and the best talents from around the world, both from film and video games. Of course, this is an interactive game, but the look, story, theme, cast, acting, fashion, sound, etc. are all at the next level of digital entertainment that could be called a movie.
And this is how we intend to compete with PlayStation. That is how you sell Xbox. That sounds like somebody trying to do something. And why is it that Kojima, I appreciate he's got a name and a brand behind him, but he's got 3 brand new IPs. Although I didn't like Death Stranding, it is good and it speaks to a specific kind of audience and storytelling.
Yeah.
The man makes good stuff. That's just all he does, and that's why he's successful. Why? How is that so? It's not hard. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but that's not hard. Aim high, go balls deep. Maybe do less acid than Kojima. It's not to constantly dig at Xbox, but that. There you go. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. It's really frustrating to me that Kojima, functionally on his own, there's a team there, I get it, but Kojima is doing a better job of keeping Kojima relevant than all of Xbox. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. There you go, it's right there. That sounds great. I'm not a stealth guy, but that sounds interesting to me. And I think he's going to come up with a really interesting game.
Yeah, I think Hideo Kojima, while he has made Metal Gear Solid and there are a lot of stealth elements in Death Stranding, I don't think it's fair to pigeonhole him too much into that.
Yeah,
because
call it that,
his mind is so erratic that I think he could tomorrow come out with something completely different and be
Absolutely.
yep, that's Kojima wrote for you. I don't know why I expected anything different. Anyway, that's all the topics that we have for today. There is one more thing that I want to talk about because people have been asking me, and it fits perfectly because it came out not too long ago. I have been playing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Yes.
And I have completed the main story.
Okay.
So I can talk intelligently about it and get everyone.
You can talk intelligently?
Well, I can talk intelligently
talk about
the game.
Yeah.
Not intelligently. So,
yeah,
there was a big hubbalaboo on
a word.
That I don't know what the word is, and I've never known what the word is. But
all I know is that's not it. I don't know what it is, but that is.
So don't throw me under the bus then. There was a big word online about what was happening with this game. A lot of people leaked the ending and things like that to the game, or certain aspects of the story to the game, and really painted it in an unfair light.
Yeah.
Some people were posting it saying, this is the end of the game. Totally wasn't the end of the game. They just found the clip and wanted to just really shit on this game, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know why, but sometimes the internet does this. It just finds something like, we are going to hate on this, guys, alright? We're going to go for it. We're going to do it. And there's just no...
one of these.
If you pick it apart, there's no reason for the thing to be hating.
I don't know if this is the thing you're talking about, but I think it's Captain Boomerang.
One sec.
Okay.
One
Cool,
sec.
that was it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think it's exactly what it's saying, but I don't want you to say spoilers too much just yet.
Alright.
Let me first of all get the non-spoiler part out of it,
Alright.
and then afterwards, guys, I'm going to tell you when it's spoilers.
I don't think it's
and
spoilers.
then you can click off for the rest
Yeah,
of the thing.
I'd rather not risk spoilers. Yeah,
Right.
perfect.
So let me just say first of all,
Yeah.
I liked the story.
Alright.
And this is big.
You don't like just the Suicide Squad.
Exactly. This is big for me because it's a Suicide Squad game. I hate
Just the concept.
the concept of Suicide Squad. It's so asinine, and for some reason it feels like it's the excuse to be shitty.
Yeah.
So like I didn't like the first Suicide Squad movie, for example, because it was a bad movie.
It was good, yeah.
It was a good movie. And I didn't like the second Suicide Squad one purely because they were like, well, they're bad guys, so we can just be shitty. And I was like, that's your entire
We're the
thing?
bad guys.
That's your entire thing? Alright. And like, we can tell dirty jokes and we can do bad things. I was like, I don't see the appeal here.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, I was like, and I've never liked Suicide Squad, the thing. I've always liked the Justice League more. But this was combining them both. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
And I was very upset if they were going to kill the Justice League. Anyway. What's funny, though, is that, in my opinion, and I think this is why I like the story, this isn't really a Suicide Squad story. This is actually a Brainiac and Justice League story.
Okay.
But just told through the Suicide Squad.
Okay. That's not what I thought it was.
That's the thing.
Honest.
That's why I think it works. That's why I think it's okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to leave the story for now.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk spoilers later. The gunplay, pretty fun. Pretty fun. I do like some of the satisfying ways that some of the guns feel in different characters' hands.
Okay.
I played mainly as Deadshot, and when you get some of the snipers, it's like there's like a satisfying pow when you like let off one in the cannon, and it's like, oh god. And he has a cool jetpack, and flying around that jetpack is fantastic. The world is like set up in such a good way that like, because your jetpack doesn't go on forever, it overheats and then you have to stop again. There's like lots of places where you can stop on a roof or whatever it might be. It's very well designed. I quite like it. It's quite good there.
Good.
It can be a little bit repetitive in terms of the enemy types.
Mm-hmm.
And I suspect the end game will get a little bit repetitive. I haven't played any more since I completed the story, but I'll probably jump back into it just to see what's going to happen. Because at the end of the day, it is just shooting the bad guys from Brainiac.
Yeah.
It's like,
ultimately, yeah.
and they're the same bad guys, same thing over and over again. That's all it is really there. The downsides.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything that's live service related,
Yeah.
downside.
Yeah.
For some reason, you're getting these guns that are like minusculely different, as you do in like live service games. I don't care. I don't care about any of it. If it shows a green arrow and it's better than the one that was before, I'll be like, cool, I'll put that on. I see no difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
Maybe when I get to the end game and I get to like really high level bosses, this will make a difference.
I mean,
But
you
that's not
played,
why
like,
I was
the
e-
Division. It's not like and plenty of looter games.
Destiny.
Destiny.
I played over 1,800 hours in Destiny.
Yeah.
I can min max. I
Yeah.
can do this shit.
You know how to do it.
I just had no draw to do it
Yeah.
in this. There was no. I felt there was no reason for
Also,
me to
that
do
seems
it.
to be the exact wrong way to do this game. The right way to do this game is microtransactions for skins for the Justice League and Suicide Squad. That's how you do it.
Wow. I didn't really like that. Now, I will say, there was one other thing that I turned off that made it so much better.
Okay.
The damage numbers and health bars.
Okay.
When I first jumped into the game, I was like, my God, what the hell is all of this
really
nonsense?
busy, yeah.
It is really busy. And I went in and I turned off nearly
HUD.
everything.
Yeah.
Turned off nearly everything on that HUD. I did it because I was trying to look for a photo mode and there wasn't one.
Right.
So sometimes I turned off the HUD completely. And I was like, oh, there you go.
That
take
looks
a
way
photo.
better, yeah.
And then I went in there, I was like, what other things on here can I turn off? I was like, turn off damage numbers, turn off this, turn off that, turn off the reticle and all that nonsense stayed in front of you.
Which again is interesting because you're a Destiny nerd, so I would have thought you'd be addicted to seeing those numbers.
See, it's just so different. It's like, maybe the font on them, the type of what it looks like, it just looks really bad. But anyway, I took that all that crap out and it exponentially increased my enjoyment of the game. The worst thing that this game does,
Okay.
unfortunately, is that the story is not complete.
Well, what do you mean when you say the story's not complete? Do you mean the game shipped and isn't ready?
No,
That-
they purposefully did this. So the
Okay.
game is going to have 4 years of story updates, and
I heard that from Destiny.
and that is and they're all going to be free.
Oh, okay.
But that's where the end of the story lies. It does come to an end point-ish, but they very clearly tell you, they're like, this isn't the end,
Yeah.
and there's stuff that happens with the Justice League that you're like, hold on a minute. So I guess we're going to find out about that. No, we're not going to find out. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You
Well,
sort of I was going to ask you a question, but you sort of answered it, which was going to be: would you say that where it ended would have been an okay natural stopping point if that was it? No.
No.
Okay.
and that's the worst part about it,
It ordered 1886, is it?
essentially, yeah.
That's disappointing. Well, yeah, that's disappointing.
And I may have some people may have seen my comments on Twitter being like kind of positive. I've gone up and down on this, and it's only after thinking about that ending I was like, wait a minute, yeah, we still don't have answers for this, so it's going to be coming later. God, that's not the way to do this.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's cheap enough, and if I got it for £43, so it was like way less than like a £70 game, right?
Also, if you game share it,
Yeah, it's true.
$21.50.
If you can get this secondhand, if you can get this for that low price, I'd say it's worth it. I think it's good enough because the Justice League story that they're telling in it is kind of fun.
That's an interesting way to do it as well. I didn't think it would be a Justice League story told from the Suicide Squad perspective.
Yeah, 100% is. Yeah, 100% is. Let me tell you now, guys. It's not about the Suicide Squad are there. They do the Suicide Squad thing. They're like, oh, we put a bomb in your head. Amanda Waller's a bad bitch, and she keeps saying bad words to you. Oh my God, no one gives a fuck about you. Go away.
I wasn't interested in the game ultimately, but knowing that it's a Justice League story, just told from a different camera angle, basically, is actually quite interesting.
The Justice League have been taken over by Brainiac. What has the world come to? How are we going to solve this problem? What are we going to do? Who's still on our side? Like in the trailers we see, like Wonder Woman isn't taken over.
Yeah.
So like, what's going on with that and stuff like that? So if you get it for cheap enough, I would say go for it there.
Okay.
However, do know story isn't complete and you're not going to see the end of the story for a while.
Okay.
This is the part we're going to talk spoilers.
So I don't think this is quite a spoiler.
Spoilers.
Definitely, maybe. At the beginning, you said that people got all wrapped up around the axle about things. I saw, and this is maybe a spoiler, but I don't know who it was. Captain Boomerang, and they defeat someone, and he pisses on the corpse. And I saw people going, this is desecrating, like ancient, not ancient, but like the OG heroes and whoever it was, right? I do not know who it was. My suspicion is that it was Batman, because that makes the most sense to me. And I also don't give a shit. They are literally the villains. That's something that a drunk, villainous Australian would do. And it's a video game. I don't know why that isn't the point of Suicide Squad. Exactly the thing you don't like, which is they're the bad guys. I would expect him to drink, do any drugs that they found, regardless of what they were like. Oh, these are 5 pills. One might be birth control for a woman, but the others could be ecstasy. Well, I'll just do them all. Right? That's the sort of thing he would do, or these guys should be doing. One is literally a giant shark. In the second movie, there's a giant shark eats multiples of people.
Yeah.
I don't really care that a villain pissed on a corpse of something that was a villain at the time anyway.
Let me tell you how we progressed to this point. Okay. So first of all, it was the Flash that he pisses on.
Okay.
Right? But I'll tell you how this progressed.
That's even less bad.
Similar to the way,
Flash,
similar to ways that we've known comic book Twitter to be done.
Yeah.
This all started with the clip, the picture of Harley Quinn pointing a gun at Batman's head, and then the clip came afterwards that she shoots him and kills him. Right? So she kills him in the head. I'm gonna tell you right now, in the game, it was done great.
Yeah. Okay.
There was nothing bad about what they did right there. People are upset.
Find this clip.
People are not right now. Not right now. Let's talk about it first of all, and then we'll get into it. Right? People posted it completely out of context and like trimmed it up to be like just a bit like where she like executes him.
Oh, hey, Bats!
And then made it seem like it was this callous thing. Made it seem like it was like, oh, you've killed the greatest superhero ever. This is our Batman. Yeah. And then they tried to make ties to it. It's like, because it is in the Arkham universe. They're like, you killed the Arkham games. And it's like, no, we didn't do that. Stop saying that nonsense. And unfortunately, because it's Batman, similar to the way that Batman vs. Superman was, it's like, oh, Batman killed someone. Just turn into children.
I love the boss Nass.
Right?
Yeah.
I saw all of that and I still bought the game. And I went, I'm going to see for myself. And I saw for myself and I saw it's nothing like what you guys are describing.
Yeah.
It was done in a very good way. It was very cool. It was, like I said, the story of like Brainiac taking over our heroes.
This is the thing.
This is a nightmare scenario. What's happening?
As we're doing spoilers, and also I don't care about. I haven't played the game. I don't care. I assume Batman's been taken over by Brainiac, right? Because in any functioning universe, if the Suicide Squad are out and Batman's around, but Brainiac is invading, they're allies now. So I don't care. Like, I didn't go, Harley Quinn shoots my Batman. I went, well, yeah, he's obviously taken over by Brainiac. What else are you going to do? And this dude is incredibly dangerous when he's on your side.
And Batman does the thing that you love from comics, where like he sets up contingencies to try and combat the Justice League, and gives all the information. Like for Lantern, we've got the yellow ring that we can use against him. For Superman, we've got Kryptonite, we've got Vivid, and all that stuff like that. And so
that's how they figure out how to take out the rest of Batman's plans.
They do actually
I like that as well. It's a nice touch.
It's great. It's great. And then it gets to the Flash afterwards, and they do that. Now we're
going to trip him up.
They progressively kill the Justice League, right?
Yeah, cool.
They don't kill. This is great for me. They don't kill Superman.
Okay.
They don't get to that point.
Does Superman survive?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's what happens, and this is what ties me into the bigger theory, which makes all of this even better for you idiots out there that didn't want to play the game, didn't want to see the story. Wonder Woman constructs like a kryptonite logo on her shield, essentially, like an eagle or whatever, to fight against Superman. Because it's like, look, we're going to fight Superman.
That's the only way that's going to work.
We're going to have to go like toe to toe.
The only person that's going to go in a fist, toe to toe fight with the guy. Yeah.
She tries her best to reason with him, tries to get through to him. He's taken over by Brainiac. It doesn't work. They get to a point. She shoves a chunk of kryptonite in his chest. You're like, oh, shit. I'm like, fuck. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing story. It's amazing writing. This is a great game.
I'm invested.
He doesn't die from it. He's weakened for a moment, but then afterwards he sort of like overcharges, and his red eyes, his like laser vision, turns almost pinkish, like the color of Brainiac sort of colors and what like that. And he laser blasts Wonder Woman to death. Straight up.
Okay.
Before she dies, though, so she's on the ground and she's like slowly turning
I
into
wasn't
like.
expecting that.
She's slowly, like, her body's progressively becoming like an ash corpse.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then it eventually fades.
She's
away and
ancient.
goes,
Yeah.
The suicide thing flies away. Superman flies away after, like, he's got the thing in his chest. He flies away. You never see him for the rest of the game. That's the last time you see him. He doesn't die, but is it?
So Wonder Woman and Batman are dead, and Superman is still Brainiacified.
Yes.
And around. Okay, great.
Before Wonder Woman dies, she says, like, that should have killed him.
Interesting. Bizarro, eh? Interesting. Interesting. I'm actually kind of interested.
And then when you go and fight Brainiac afterwards, because that's the final boss fight, you fight Brainiac. He does a great monologue as an intelligent being does, who's of the 12th intelligence, the 12th dimension. He says, "My Justice League."
Yeah. Oh my God! I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm dying.
You got hit by Superman's laser vision. So you're the Justice League.
Sorry, yeah.
I knew you was Batman all along.
I'll take it.
He says, "My Justice League," and then he shows
from his dimension.
Well, he shows a couple of pods.
Okay.
It's a very, very, very likely theory, and a lot of people have this theory that the Justice League that they've been fighting are all clones. And the people they've been killing aren't the real Justice League. And it would make sense that they would allow...
killed the real Batman.
Yeah, you like what kind of a show me a comic. Show me a comic where it ends and they're like, Justice League dead.
But they do exist.
True, actually they do. I was gonna say it's like that's not a first installment of a comic, right? Not a first installment of a game.
You don't start Endgame.
It would
start.
It makes more sense to be like these guys were actually they're being held captive somewhere.
Yeah.
They took their DNA and they did this. Lex Luthor, you eventually find out two Lex Luthors actually, and he concocts a kryptonite from the DNA of Batman because Batman's DNA has been affected by Brainiac.
Okay.
Again, leading to the idea that this isn't really Batman. This is a clone that Brainiac has made, and that's why it needs a modified version of everything to try and make it work and stuff like that. Superman does show up one more time afterwards, and that's when Amanda Waller, after he sees the Justice League, is like
dead, defeated.
Sorry, they defeat Green Lantern. Lantern, and King Shark puts on the ring. King Shark puts on the ring, and he makes a giant shark come out of the ocean and attack the shield that's around the protecting.
That's actually fantastic.
It's actually great, and Amanda Waller sees this moment of vulnerability, this like gap in the shield and whatnot, launches a nuke. Superman stops the nuke and then like gets rid of it and stuff like that. It's the last time you ever see. You don't never see again. As I said, Superman gets away after a fight. You really don't. He doesn't die. And these guys are all pretending, and these guys are clearly not the Justice League. This is what makes me laugh, is that all of those people online, they were all just crying about nothing, and none of them played the game, so they look doubly stupid.
Yeah,
because they're so stupid.
That's actually ridiculous, isn't it?
And then there's another side of this as well that's looking really bad. So journalists are giving this a really bad score. Not all of them, but there's a bunch of them that are.
I mean, I don't trust any journalists.
I don't. No one does.
I trust. This is the thing.
No one does anymore.
You don't like these things, and you're saying it's really good. Let me rephrase that: for the money, and with your caveats, it's good. It's worth playing. It's interesting. That's actually a fair assessment. In the same way that I didn't like Elden Ring or Sifu or those sorts of games, but I think they're good, right? Like, this is a thing that you don't like, and you actually enjoyed it. Yeah. And what did you do? You didn't let the internet make stuff up for you. You went, I'm going to play it for myself and see what I think.
Exactly. And look at the experience that I got from it. However, I think there's two reasons for that.
Okay.
One, Rocksteady didn't give out codes early to journalists. already,
Good.
and because they're all petulant children,
Usually
because they're all petulant children, they're like, bad review. That's one reason.
Yeah.
But the other reason, it's WB Games. And WB Games funded Hogwarts Legacy and all of that nonsense. And I bet you there's a bunch of them that are like,
right.
I'm going to show them.
I bet you're right. I could easily believe that.
Yeah.
The other side of this is, usually I'd go, oh, a game not giving out codes. Like, didn't Starfield also not do that? So it just dropped.
I think so, yeah.
You'd go like, okay, well, that's probably a bad sign. Equally, if the game is good, you go, oh, the reason why is because, like, who cares what game journalists think? Like, I off topic, but I have no idea how they're in business. Like, name 3 good games journalists.
You know, did you hear recently IGN has voted to unionize?
Oh, wow.
I was like, you guys are so stupid. You guys don't know how close to the edge you are of relevance.
Yeah.
You're going to push the higher-ups, the people that pay your paychecks, to really consider whether or not it's even worth keeping you guys around. So dumb of you.
Yeah,
I was like, some people unionizing, that's a good idea, no problem. I'm not trying to say that.
Unions are good.
But you guys aren't good.
Like, unions are good when the worker has value.
Yeah.
Right, and isn't being treated right, but you're worthless.
Yeah.
You don't add value.
Anyway, that Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. It might get a little bit repetitive afterwards. I really don't like the way the story isn't finished.
Yeah,
and
that's frustrating.
If it was like wait a year, I'd feel a little bit less thing as well about it. But 4 years. So the idea is that there's 13 Brainiacs in 13 different dimensions.
Yeah.
You kill the one in your dimension, and you have to go kill all the other ones. And I was like, cool. I can go do that now, right? No, that's coming in future seasons. So I was like, for fuck's sake.
I think as long as each in next one, obviously, like, we're looking at 13 versions of similar fights, right? But
they might be different.
This is the thing. Like, if you know, Wonder Woman is taken over in one universe and Superman isn't, for example, or Batman's still around, you could team up with a Batman in a different universe. Or, you know, there's plenty of different ways you can make killing the Justice League 13 times not repetitive. But those have to come out relatively quickly. It can't be, you know, 4 years divided by 13. What is that? Well,
mate,
however many months that is.
I've already moved on to my next game.
Yeah.
PlayStation were kind enough to give me Helldivers 2.
Shill. Paid shill.
And it's a 10 out of 10. Haven't played it yet. 10 out of 10. No, I haven't played it yet, but a lot of people were posting GIFs of Starship Troopers because it's essentially killing bugs on alien planets. Yes. And I was like, sold! I'll take it!
Would you like to know more?
I didn't buy it, but I was like, I called up my PlayStation contact. I was like, can I please have a code? Like, yeah, sure, no problem. I was like, thank you so much.
That's the way to do it, man. That is the way to do it.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have paid any attention to it, but when people did that, I was like, alright, I'm gonna implant all of the Starship Troopers into this game while I play it.
You should be regurgitating like the worst of the worst quotes.
Every time I sign on, I'm doing my part. I'm gonna call myself Eddie's Roughnecks. Hoo-ha!
You will live forever, you apes! Yeah, it's
I've got one rule. We fight, no one quits. If you quit, if you don't fight, I kill you. Anyway, that movie's great.
This movie's so good. This is the thing: is without some sort of constant activity, those games sort of die out pretty quickly. Like as an example, not on the same scale, but Destiny had a lot for you to be doing before you ever got close to being bored or like needing something new, and by that time it was about ready to have its next thing, and there was stuff for you to be doing, daily quests, etc. This does sort of feel like a one and done. It sort of feels like, you know, we're talking about Xbox, like maybe I'll wait 3 years and in 20 I can do maths 27 I'll be like, oh hey, Suicide Squad, that's mostly done now, there's DLC coming soon, maybe I'll catch up with it, that could be really good.
That's probably what I will do, to be honest. Unless I see something great online, which unfortunately being a DC show all you need to do is go John Stewart in a new way or whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm back in, guys. I'm back in, boys.
Mate, all they have to do is show you like a different universe where all the Justice League are attacking a Superman, but he also has a Green Lantern ring, and you're just gonna jizz your pants.
I can't control it. Because I want to see it. I want to see this shit.
Also, I mean, let me just last question to round up the show. Are you now finally convinced that Superman would be a terrible character to be as a video game protagonist? Obviously, it doesn't work. He's no good. There's no reason. No, first of all, nobody wants it. Right? Nobody wants it. It couldn't be done. It couldn't possibly be done right. Do you know what I mean? Like it couldn't be done. So, like now you understand your folly. How stupid you were to ever think that a Superman game not only could be done, but might be even okay.
Oh, God. It's so fucking annoying because this is like everyone's screaming for a Superman game and they do things in here. Like, all of the cutscenes are like what you would straight want out of like a Superman game.
Yeah.
Granted, it's like if it was a Brainiac story, right?
Yeah.
Like, him catching a nuke. You could easily do that without being the Brainiac thing. Like, the US government launches a nuke at something and then he goes to stop it because he's a guy of hope and he wants peace and he doesn't want to kill people. I'm like, oh my God, he caught it. That's so fucking cool. He turns it around and he throws it. All of these things, you're doing it. You just won't give us the bloody game.
Yeah.
So annoying. So annoying.
Yes. Yeah. It kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, it makes me very sad too. Anyway.
Yes.
Bro, that's all the time we've got for today.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to record the Conbrosations podcast.
Right.
If you want to check that out as well. We'll put a link in the description to our Conversations After Dark
If
channel.
you remember.
You can check that over for. I mean, maybe, see what happens. But yeah, it's where we talk about all kinds of funny stuff. It's great. You should go check it out.
You should check it out.
All right, bro. And guess when we all play, we all win.
We all play, we all win. Unlike you, I can play Batman games.
Why would I want to play Batman games?
I mean, that Batman gets killed by a girl.
Exactly, especially after we desecrated the memory of Batman. All of Batman is now pointless watching. We might as well not see anything Batman related.
So stupid. It's so stupid. But don't worry, the Batman still applies somehow. But BVS doesn't
That's
count.
That's good.
But Battinson's still okay.
I love it. You know how I say, like, Superman fans, they're quite toxic.
Oh, yeah.
It's equally for Batman as well.
100%. Are you kidding? Look at me.
Doesn't make any